Hi, Sven here. I want to show you some of the new features we launched in our page builder application in our latest release, the 5.35. So when you go into the page builder, you'll notice this new interface. The interface has been completely redesigned to allow better content organization and better content discovery. So we removed that big preview panel from the right-hand side and we added a new sidebar on the left-hand side. The left-hand side sidebar allows you to organize your content in a hierarchical way, meaning in folders and subfolders. You can also move content between folders and subfolders by using the move action and just selecting a new location. You can also see all of the pages in the root used by clicking on all pages here. You can create new folders. Let's call it benefits pages. And we can decide where we want to place the new folder. I want to nest it under the feature pages. Now if I go under the feature pages, I'll see the benefit pages there, right? Currently, we don't have any pages inside. The organization of the content using the folders and subfolders here, it doesn't affect your navigation or how the page slugs are generated. We completely disjoined those two actions because we found that content editors often have different workflows there and need to organize the content in different ways when working with the content versus how the content is presented on the website. So this here is suited for content organization, for your publishing workflows, for your content editors. The other cool thing that we have as part of this new interface is that all familiar page preview sidebar. So if I click on a page, the drawer now appears, giving us that preview that we know from the older version with the same features. All right, so that was about the content organization. The same interface is coming to the file manager as well as the headless CMS in the upcoming releases. Now, when it comes to creating pages, we introduced a new concept of templates in this release. Templates allow you to have a better starting point when you create a new page, so you don't start off with a blank canvas. To build a template, you just align a couple of blocks like what I have here, right? So I'm using the concept of blocks here, where I have multiple blocks to build a page template. I don't necessarily need to use pre-built blocks. I can also use the standard page builder element, but using blocks has some advantages, which I'll just show you in a moment. So I have a page template that my intent is for my content editors to use every time they are building a new product page. So let's go to the pages and let's go on the feature pages, for example, benefits pages. Let's say here I want to create a new page, and for that new page I want to select the template that I just created. So we'll use this template. So you can see here that I've created now a new page using a template. This helps me to not start with a blank page, but also to have a predefined structure on what is expected for this particular content piece. When it comes to that notion of blocks that I mentioned earlier, using blocks as part of the page template helps to keep the whole page standardized. And I, as a content editor now, if I click on a particular block in a page template, I can only change the items that the block exposed as variables. For example, here, let's say I want to change the content modeling into demo feature. Right, so I can't change the font size, the styling, or anything because I'm locked out of doing that, but I can change the content. Now, if somebody makes a change to the block or to the page template, my page that was created of that template using that block will automatically inherit all of those changes. I can break that inheritance by clicking on this padlock here. This padlock unlinks the template, meaning that my page is no longer linked to that template and will no longer inherit the pages that the changes that come off that template. By unlinking, I now have access to the basic building blocks, basic elements that I can add now to this page, right? So I'll use the template to get started, but I want to go a step further. I will unlink the template and be able to then add custom elements to it. We hope this new feature is going to be handy for organizations that want to, first of all, help their content editors to always follow the same structure, as well as with content inheritance when it comes to standardizing the look and feel of your pages. Now, for the next feature that I want to show you, I will create a new page and I will use the blank page template. So the blank page template is a pre-built template that you can't delete, but if you use it, it pretty much starts you with a blank page. Here, I will insert an empty block with a grid. So the next few changes that I want to show you are related to the grid. First one is that the grid now supports multiple rows. Previously, you were always working with a single row grid. Now you can create, let's say, a grid 3 by 3, and I can make some of the grid sizes a bit different, right, to suit my needs. The other change is that we introduce grid settings. There's a couple of advanced settings in there, but the most useful one that I found were actually the both column gap and the row gap. They allow you to space the cells evenly without needing to fiddle with things like paddings and margins on each individual cell. You can still use that to make finer adjustments if needed, but just by using column and row gap, it makes it much easier. All right, so let's go back to a 1-by-1 grid, so it's easy to demonstrate the next new feature of the grid. For this, I will need a fixed height grid. So let's have a fixed height grid. Right, so I got a block and a grid, and inside that grid, I've got a cell. Now, inside that cell, I'll add another grid. All right, so I'm in the inner grid, and in that grid, I will also set it to a fixed width and height, 100 by 100. I'll just add a background color to it so it's easier to follow the changes that I'm going to make now. All right, so I've got this grid that's an inner grid nested inside a cell. If I click on that parent cell, you will see two new options here, horizontal align and vertical align. So the options on that parent cell control how the child elements of that cell will be aligned. So if I put this to center and middle, it's in the middle of my cell. If I want it in the, let's say, bottom right corner, I would say horizontal align right and vertical align bottom. Just this simple mechanism with vertical and horizontal align options opens a lot of possibility to really fine-tune the look and feel of your pages, the placement of your content. And we hope you're gonna like this feature, because we rebuilt our whole website, webiny.com, using Page Builder, and this was one of the, let's say, pain points we had while going through that experience. So having these capabilities really helped us. All right, now let's delete the grid. Let's add a new grid for the next feature I want to show you. The next feature is to do with paragraph and headings. So we've introduced a new text editor into Webiny. We're now using a lexical editor from Meta. This editor is way more powerful and more capable than our previous editor, but we've heavily customized and extended the lexical editor to fit and be really embedded into our page builder. So now, unlike before, you can control the font size on an individual word level. You can color individual words or even letters. Previously, you had to color the whole paragraph. There's also the standard options to bold, underline, or italic. You still have the list options, but the way that the lexical works is it pulls the theme definitions from your Webiny page builder theme into the lexical editor and ensures all the styles are completely aligned and standardized across the board. Right? So with the new lexical editor, you can do miles more than what you could have done with the previous editor. It's a completely revamped experience. Both the paragraph as well as the heading element use now the new editor. If you had the old editor for some of your content, the old editor will still appear in the places where you use the old editor, but if you add any new text to your existing pages, the new lexical editor will be the one that you will be using there. And finally, last thing that I just want to show that is more mentioned is that under the page builder blocks, we've added a couple of new features as well. So now you can download and export individual blocks, as well as you can export blocks from the currently selected category, or you can export all blocks. So with this, we find it's much easier to move blocks from one system to another system between different environments and so on. So I hope that you're going to appreciate all of these new cool features and they're going to be very useful to you. There's more, so I recommend you check out our changelog. And if you have any questions or feedback, we would appreciate if you post that on our community Slack so we can interact with you and see how we can make things even better for the next release. All right, that's it from me. Thank you for your time.